What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and this past Sunday we lost a real legend in the game, a real giant, a real pillar in the game, a real pioneer. Bill Russell of the Boston Celtics, who played in the NBA from 1956 to 1969, passed away at the age of 87. Uh, 11-time champion, five-time MVP, uh, 9-time defensive player, the defensive all defensive team if they had one back then. You know, and was a good anchor of the Boston. What is was the chief anchor and the heartbeat of the dynasty of the NBA's first true dynasty, the Boston Celtics. Man, you know, today's standards for a superstar, right? A lot of people, of my age group or younger, they really don't remember Bill Russell's impact on the game. You know what I mean? If there was ever a superstar during that era, Bill Russell would qualify for that, along with Will Chamberlain. You know what I mean? Those two right there are the two preeminent faces in the league for the 1960s. For the 1960s for sure, because even though Wilt was more dominant individual player, I think you can make the argument that in some ways Bill Russell was a better team player because he was heavily recruited out of the University of San Francisco. You know what I mean? He was a dominant player then, and Bill Russell's athleticism was off the charts. And he had like a, inside game, a more skilled Ben Wallace, Spent like 3 years in San Francisco and then, got drafted to the Boston Celtics in 1956. Was it 56 or 57? I'm not sure. But I know it was during around that time, And then, a lot of times his numbers don't indicate his dominance, as far as like being an all-time great player. Now, me personally, I don't think he's in a GOAT debate, but as far as being a pioneer, being a legend, having an impact on the game, you can't deny that. You can't deny that. And he was the ultimate team player before Tim Duncan, way before Tim Duncan, You had guys like Tim Duncan, you had guys like Magic Johnson who were ultimate team players, So, plus, the plethora of all-stars he played with, he actually made them better. He kind of, because when you think about it, is 15 points per game, that doesn't tell the whole story. His supporting cast was so good that he impacted the game in other ways, in rebounds and defense. You got the endless amount of Hall of Famers like Havlicek, Cousy, Sam Jones, Frank Sanders, Casey Jones, you name it. It's an endless list of players he played with, man. And he was definitely a contributor on that 1960 Celtics. Won 8 straight NBA championships. I mean, a lot of people say there was an easy era to win back then and shit, but you gotta think. He did it. He did it. He did it. And along the way, he faced a, stiff challenge from Wilt. But Wilt, somebody had to win the NBA win those championships back then, and the Celtics did it. Celtics did it. You gotta give them their props. Even though they were the most talented team during that era. 8 straight, no matter how the league is set up, no matter how many teams were in the league back then, it's hard to do. It's probably his greatest team was the 1965 Celtics. You know, they beat the St. Louis Hawks for the NBA championship. Well, yeah, Los Angeles Lakers for the NBA championship. Damn shame I don't remember that. Somebody got to fill me in. Who did they beat in 1965 to win the NBA championship? I think that was his best team. Bill Russell's best, most dominant season when you look at it from a standpoint of impact and winning games. You know, now they didn't win in 1967. Wilt was too dominant, and he finally figured the Celtics out, or so they say. So they say. They finally figured out the Celtics. Okay, but Bill Russell came back in 1968, won it again. You know, but then Wilt, shockingly enough, went to Los Angeles Lakers in the summer of 1968. And a lot of people, that team was getting long in the tooth, and Bill Russell was on his last legs as far as being a dominant player. A lot of people in 1969 thought that Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Gail Goodrich, Happy Harrison, Elgin Baylor, of course. They thought that was the late 1969 was going to be the Lakers year. But the numbers may not reflect it, but I say Bill Russell had a bigger impact on that game than any other team he's been on during that decade. They were really old, long in the tooth, and a lot of people think they couldn't pull it off, but they did. Made him 11-time champion in 13 seasons. That was his crown achievement going away. But he's more known for that. His work off the court, his social justice, standing up for civil rights in the 1960s, especially during the summit when they sent Muhammad Ali. They tried to send Muhammad Ali to prison for not fighting the Vietnam War. That I tell you what, he's the one that put that summit together with all those big names in sports at the time, and even in his, he had a profound impact back then on the civil rights movement, low key. Even though he was in, sports figure back then, even after his playing days, he still had an impact in civil rights, and his influence was felt all throughout the league, even the days after he retired, even in his own city he played in, he had to put up with racism. Going in his house, defecating his belongings, going to his, destroying his property and shit. He played through all that and won 11 championships. And you gotta commend the man for that, man, because he fought, he'd been through it all. He played through it all, you know what I mean? And like I said, I really don't have him in the GOAT conversation, but I wouldn't be mad if somebody did, you know what I mean? Because the impact he had on the court, and plus the philanthropy work he did off it, dealing with civil rights, dealing with social justice back then, But yeah, rest in peace to a true pioneer, a true giant in the game. Bill Russell, man, you know what I mean? He's gonna be greatly missed. He's without a doubt one of the 10 greatest players of all time, in my estimation. You know, and I wouldn't be mad if anybody considered him top 5. You know, I wouldn't be mad if anybody considered him top 3. Now that's one thing I wouldn't debate nobody on. You know, out of all the players in the league, I wouldn't have a problem debating. Bill Russell was not. Bill Russell ain't one of them. He's not one of them, straight up. But rest in peace, Steffi. He will be missed. Like, subscribe, and let me know what y'all think.